Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's myself, the 1AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Lura. Shout out to all my Nicoholics. We are back once again with another edition of the Top 10 show, which is just too sweet.
Throw them up, brother, throw them up. And for those of you who don't, just type in too sweet and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. When I say that, it's because some people are still on podcasts, hence the Spotify above. Right, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to do this part really quick before we slow it down, like what I did there. Okay, Nico. No, let's be, what? Am I going to make you do the intro straight away? Are we doing it that quick?
I don't know.
Right, before we do, this is the first podcast of celebration, my friend. First tangent of the show.
Talk to me.
This is the podcast of celebration. My friend, we are at Age of Ultron with the missus. The lady who dared not watch anything Marvel and was like, oh, you and your geeky superhero stuff. The excitement that came into my face when we got to Avengers. She goes, so what happens next? Who comes next? And I was like, this is exactly what I told you was going to happen.
Like, what I want to say to Tam for that? Gotcha.
Exactly. All of the stuff we tried to put in other films. She's like, this is boring. Let's go back to your stuff. We're at a Father's Day dinner where I meet her father for the first time. And they're like, so what have you guys got planned for the rest of the day? She's like, go home and watch Marvel movies. And I'm like, I have witnesses. I'm not forcing her because she's joked that I've been forcing her to watch it. She wants to watch it. We're in the final half hour of Age of Ultron. Phase 2 is nearly complete.
Think of my guy, Ultron.
Can I be honest? Now, I get it. And this is one thing that's happened to me on a revisiting. There's two things that hit me with this. Phase 1 is the intros. Phase 2 is most definitely the thinkers phase. Like, there was a lot of info to take in, like, really. And that's why she's like, I'm enjoying this, but there's a lot to take in. And obviously, there's this. You've got the Wanda and Pietro. You've got Ultron. You've got Jarvis. You've got Friday. You've got Claw.
Ultron's mental. There's so much that happens in it.
Can I be honest? And I've watched Ultron. This will probably be about my 5th time watching it. This time I've appreciated it more than ever.
Right? Good.
Like, honestly, because it's funny. I was having a discussion with someone. I'm like, Nick's all down with Ultron, but I get it. It's like, I've enjoyed it, but it's not in my top pantheon of films. It's changing. Like, I was like, there was so much to take in on this film. What hurt me, and this is why, and I recommend anyone do this, you have to do Winter Soldier in one sitting. She was tired. We stopped it. We started again the next day, and because I was moving, I'm like, there's. So when that one was like,
you lose the pacing of it.
Yeah, that was the thing. The pace you really need to be, and that's why I always loved Winter Soldier. Watch it beginning to end. The first time I watched it, I was like, there was that. And she liked the Guardians.
That was going to be my next question. What does she think of the talking tree and the mechanical raccoon?
So she's a Rocket fan. Didn't really jump on board. She didn't really jump on board with Groot at first, which I was shocked. I was like, what, really? But Baby Groot got her. Baby Groot dancing at the end got her. And I don't want to put her on blast, but it is what it is. She is a sensitive soul. She's a very sensitive soul. So when Peter opened the letter from his mum, sorry guys, bit of a spoiler, but like when the letter's opened from his mum, the tears started flooding. She's like, oh my God, I'm even crying in a comic book movie. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. But yeah.
I'll say again.
Gotcha. Exactly. I was so scared with Guardians because it's very sci-fi.
Oh, it's
it's
so out there.
It's so out there. And when you started to understand all these characters, and even she was like, so how does this fit in? I was like, well, do you remember at the end of Thor Dark World, they went to go and drop the red stone up with this guy? Well, there he is again. Like, do you remember at the end of Avengers, that purple guy? He's there. And oh, I get it. Oh, okay. So it's piecing it all together to a complete, and I say this with love, complete noob in the world of comic book movies.
Has she got the culture of waiting for the post-credit scene now?
Oh, yeah.
She knows to wait.
So she was like, how did you know? Like, because by the end of it, what I love with Disney Plus, thankfully, you've got the skip credits, which is so helpful. But she was like, at first I was like, show her. For some reason, I tried to fast forward. I went too fast on Iron Man, showed it to her, and she was like, how did you know? I was like, That's what a Marvel fan does. We just know, but we just know. And she was like, yeah. And she's seen a Spider-Man. I'm not too sure which one. I nearly dropped the spoiler of like, oh, if it's Homecoming, he was crying about, and I was like, ooh, whoa, like Far From Home. Sorry, I was like, ooh, sorry. And she's like, oh, someone's gonna die. I'm like, I just said he was crying over. I didn't say what he's crying over. It could be a breakup, could be a this. So that was that. But yeah, she's ready for the
that shit will buy you a Hong Kong level ass whooping. If you know, you know.
Deserve. I'll take it. I will take it. Trust me, I will take it. Do not spoil the end game. But more than anything, she knows for the end credits and mid credits. Well, I look out to find out which ones have got 2 credits as opposed
yeah.
She makes it helpful.
On the
And
internet.
you know the other one? I've just done the sign of the cross for those listening on pod. She knows to recognize the dearly departed Stan.
Good.
I've made sure each time.
The only thing she could do wrong at this stage, if she's on board with Ultron, she's winning brownie points. Hell hath no fury if she disses Doctor Strange.
I think Strange might be a bit trippy, but I think she'll enjoy it because Strange has got that humor, you know.
Strange, the way they've presented him in the MCU is just like another Tony Stark. So if she likes Stark, she should like Strange.
This is it, yeah. As I said, she's a Hulk fan. She's a Hulk. Oh my god, bro! Do you know the one that had me laughing more than anything? Right? I've shown her Hulk, Incredible Hulk. We need to go back to Hulk. We need to go back to Hulk, which I, to myself, haven't actually fully completed. And the film is draining me. But she's up for it. She wants to know his origin. So I'm like, well,
no.
Listen, we'll finish MCU first, yeah? But this is the one where I was like, excuse me? So we all appreciate everything from Hulk. But if you know Mark Ruffalo, prior to that, he was 13 going on 30 and a load of other chick flicks. She and Scarlett Johansson share birthdays. So she's always called Scarlett her twin because she loves her films. And one day we Googled it and she's like, oh my God, she has my birthday. I got told off because it was, well, why didn't you tell me these people were in these films? I would have watched it ages ago.
Oh, it's your fault. Okay.
I'm sorry. But yeah. So that we're in all kinds of cool right now. Even now, she had an appointment. I had to come back for pod, and she's like, oh, "There's only half an hour left, but we've got to go." Yes. And Nico, one more time. Thank you. So yes, that's the first tangent. So fellas, if you do have a missus who has a bit of difficulty with the MCU, I am living proof that if I could convert her, it
can be done.
It can be done.
Oh my God, by the hoary hosts of Hoggoth and the ruby rings of Ragnarok, it can be done.
I am looking forward to Phase 3 because I think Phase 3 is more comedy than anything else. Like everyone, it's lighter, it's a lot cooler. So
I imagine she doesn't like Ragnarok.
Oh God.
It could all go very wrong still. There could be certain movies she's like, I didn't like that. It's like, oh no, you were doing so well.
The thing is, doing back to back and with no prior knowledge, I realized how much info you're asking someone to take in. So there are a few jokes, even like Hawkeye in there tried the mind control. Not for me. She was like, huh? I was like, oh babe, come on. Remember the scepter? She's like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But she has laughed at others.
It'll really screw her up because it even screwed you up as WandaVision when you finally get there.
Oh, I'm hoping she wants to get into the series as well. Like knowing her, because of the way she can do back-to-back series, she may even do something I haven't done yet, and that's complete Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have a feeling she may finish that.
Fuck that show. Ugh.
Bro, I don't know, but yeah, WandaVision's going to be trippy. I know she's not ready for the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, here was one. Carry on.
She's nowhere near yet.
I know. But those two will blow her away. Another one that you're going to enjoy, and it's in line with this. She's like, I like the name Loki. I'd be interested in calling the kid that. And I'm like, well, one, that's Nico's favorite character, so he'll be pleased to hear that. But you do realize that's the god of mischief, right? She's like, people used to call me Mischief when I was younger. That's cool. I can't make this up if I try. Anyway.
Bro, can I just say one thing while we're on the topic of Loki? Right? By the way, this new series is so fucking good. Episode one of Loki, when they were showing him being DB Cooper, you know, the guy who hijacked the plane, when he had his short hair slicked back and he was in the suit, I was like, motherfucker looks like James Bond. God, he would be a good Bond. It's never going to happen, but my God, it will never happen. He is Loki now. He's typecast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh God, he'd be a good Bond.
He would have been. He would have been.
Nope. Let's get rid of that, shall we?
What would that be?
Huh?
What was that?
Oh, that was my phone going mental.
Oh, right. Okay. I was like, huh? Get rid of what? Didn't even hear
it. It's funny that it's actually relevant that you bring up MCU and Marvel. And here's why. Because bringing it back into the podcast today, we've always had three things are sure in life: death, taxes, and AJ talking about comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker, I am guilty this week.
Bro, I've got three. And I really wanted to limit it. I really wanted to limit it. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. And there was some stuff that hurt me to leave.
That's a comic. I have 5.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I'm including graphic novels, but like, I have 5.
Maybe 4. Yeah.
And when you want to go geeky, I've actually got 6 things that are kind of big IP and geeky.
Oh, do you know what? It's a decent mix. I had to take off one that hurt me because it was like, to me, but it's not an awesome slow-mo. So I had to take it back. Like it's the heartbreaker from Crash. If you know, you know. It's the invisible cloak. I was like, nearly made the list.
Yeah, it's not awesome. That's just sad.
Oh man. Tam, as I said, will watch a film. She breaks down and she's like, "What's wrong with you? Do you have no heart? Put on the invisible cloak. I don't care." I'm there. The tears start kicking in, man. So yeah, I was like, okay, for that reason, because any other time I could bring up Crash, it is there. But
well, it's good that you're talking about that because I believe you're going first this week, aren't you?
Yeah, I am indeed. So, but before I do go first, Nico, would you like to tell people what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about, please, sir?
So for those of you tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. If you are watching us live on YouTube, please be sure to give the video a like, hit the subscribe button, and please do share the video with anyone who you think may be interested. And guys, if you disagree, or even if you agree with anything that you see in the video, comment below. We will respond. Now, if you are listening to us on podcast, welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again. We are available on all podcast platforms on both iOS, Android, and of course, everyone's favorite podcast and music streaming platform, Spotify, as you can see in the video right above. Now, how does the Movie Mount Rushmore actually work? AJ and I get us on the topic, we go our separate ways, we come right back here into recording, or in this case, YouTube for some of you, and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. AJ will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2. And then we will trade one apiece. If at any time, while we are rounding off our individual top 10 lists, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say...
Why is it not coming up? Punt! There we go.
Delayed punt. And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10s, we will create the Movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre, which this week is... awesome slow-mo scenes in movies. I slowed it down a bit there because, yeah, for some reason I had a bit of a go. That's the one. That is the one. Okay, right. So, kicking it off for me in at number 10. Oh. Behind Enemy Lines. Oh, it's an old one.
Yeah, bro. Do you know what? I was scratching my head trying to think what scenes are there, and I'm trying to remember this film, and I'm like, there was a scene with landmines, and I just remember it. Now, it's not the longest slow-mo, and it starts with Owen Wilson's character just carefully treading in the minefield, and he now sees the enemy behind him, and it's not the best place to be because obviously all destruction could follow. And it's one of the soldiers whose foot, and that's that slow-mo moment, touches the wire. And the explosion kicks off, and the way it, like you see the impact of what it has done to that soldier. And then from there, bang, it's all fast-paced again. It's him moving at, not the speed of light, but everything he possibly can do to avoid that. But I've always found it such a gripping and chilling moment, that even looking back, I had to go back to find it. I'm like, was it slow-mo? How much of the slow-mo was it? So that's why it's in at number 10, because it's not the longest of slow-mo, but the tension that builds in it, because you can see real life slow-mo, how cautious he was in taking those steps before. And as that foot touches the wire, you're like, oh shit, this isn't going to go right. And all chaos is here. Awesome scene. Awesome scene. So I had to bring that one in.
I may be spoiling your list here. I hope I'm not. Apologies if I am, and just pump me or shut me down or whatever. Have you ever seen, despite after my numerous recommendations, The Hurt Locker?
I haven't. I've heard it's an expanded version of this. This is what I have. In fairness,
if you like this,
yeah,
you will enjoy The Hurt Locker.
Having not seen it, I was like, just have to play fair and just go.
No, of course. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
This one is another oldie but goodie. I don't say goodie. The scene was, because I think that's the only good part people ever talked about on this film. I remember enjoying it, but it's been forever since I've seen it. And I'm talking about the explosion scene in Swordfish.
That is a pun.
Okay, perfect. And back to us. Oh, right, yeah. So okay. That worked there. I have a feeling this one may be a punt, but my God, it had to be mentioned. It depends, because it can be a different scene though in this one film. I'm talking about the kick that really woke me up in the film. 300. This is Sparta.
Right, okay, we have a problem here, because the movie, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to say punt. The scene is different.
I appreciate that, because I was torn between two. Let's keep it as the film, because it's unlikely we're going to name the. Yeah, because later on, I do agree that different parts of it could be counted, so I will go with that.
Most definitely. So then, in that case, I'm telling you, punt.
Okay, sir. Over to you.
Right. Weird one, because let me just tell you what the scene is, and then I'll explain my reasons for giving it. In at number 10, I'm kind of giving all of my entries these weird titles because I'm a narcissist that way. And I'm saying Sherlock knows Kung Fu in Sherlock Holmes.
Punt.
My man.
Oh, yeah, but yeah. Yeah, it is. But it's Sherlock Holmes, so screw it.
Okay. We're punting the movie, so punt.
Yeah, that's the one. I am just making sure it's still, because I did rejig my list. Yeah. Hold on.
Well, if it's above 10, it's a punt, mate, because we've gone down for your 10 through 8, so it's definitely a punt if it's there.
Oh, shit. No, continue.
What do you mean?
6, 5, 4, 3. It was on my list. It actually made honourable. Damn. Sorry, I'll take it back.
Cool. Sherlock knows Kung Fu.
I'm actually gutted he didn't make the list.
There was a toss-up for me, because in both Sherlock Holmes movies, they've both got a number of great slow-motion scenes. Now, Sherlock Holmes 2, I think, is the lesser of the two movies, and inadvertently, whenever you talk slow motion in Sherlock Holmes movies, people always pull for that scene as they're leaving Moriarty's, I think it's Gun Factory, and there's it is a great scene. It's that crazy chase through the forest where the bullets are moving not at bullet speed, but at human speed, so therefore, by proxy, the humans are moving that bit more slowly, and you see everything, like the timber cracking, like everything. But the problem I've got with that scene, as great as it is as a technical achievement, I actually thought the second movie became over-reliant on the same trick, and it made the second movie a bit slow. And that trick was the one which I'm praising from the first movie because it felt so fresh and new. Like, what do you think of when you think of Sherlock Holmes? You think the world's second greatest detective. You know what I'm saying.
You got me, bro. You got me.
I'm Batman. For those of you who aren't following, he is the world's greatest. But yeah, you've got the world's second greatest detective. You've got.
Are you just saying Bruce is better than Tony?
Tony's not a detective. Don't
no.
even go.
No. But I'm just. We've gone from Batman over Iron Man. I just wanted to get that clear.
Oh, get the fuck back in your lane.
Robert Downey reference, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, no, continue.
Here's another way. You wear a jacket. No. It's always been about the brain. It's always been about the complexity of the crime that he's trying to solve. It's always been about his relationship with Watson. So these are the things you've come to expect, and it's always been about a very, very atypical, vainglorious, very narcissistic man who's counterbalanced by Watson. So they hit all the beats that you're expecting. However, What you're not expecting is this kung fu motherfucker who looks like he spent some time in China. Like, this caught me so off guard. You know, I even think that this caught me, despite the fact that it was in the more or less correct period. I found this even more throwing me off guard than the Benedict Cumberbatch version, which was set in the modern day, because that hit all of the beats of Sherlock and it kept Sherlock, you know? And I'm not saying I don't like this version of Robert Downey being Sherlock. I love it. But it was this kung fu fuckery that he had. I was like, it makes the most sense when you think about it. Because it's like, of course, if a smart man is going to be punched in the face and he has an aptitude to defend himself, which he clearly fucking does, he's going to do exactly what happens in this scene that I just put up. He's like,
well, can I just bring up something? I just had to upload the image quickly just to reference it.
Yeah.
Even the punch, which, okay, it comes down into kung fu if you want, but his skill of fighting and the way he breaks it down mentally just made him all kinds of cool.
Yeah.
So whether it be martial arts or just straight Queensbury rules, he took it to a
deflect jab to face, stiff hook to body, breaking the 2 ribs, quick right hook to the face, dislocating the jaw. Total recovery time, 6 weeks. Total pride recovery time, 6 months. It makes the most sense.
And that's what I loved about it, because to me, I started it and I was like, whoa, what? But you see it, is that his brain is so much farther ahead than everybody else that it's like, of course he would do that. The penny drops instantly, doesn't it? It's like, he can solve bullshit. He would know how this guy would fight. He would know how to do it.
It's like when you see training the boys and you're like, well, yeah, if you hit someone at that speed, you would eviscerate the person. It's like, makes sense. I'm on board.
Yeah, exactly. This is just another one of those moments.
Despite the fact that most people I talk to love this film, I still say it's underrated.
I believe it is. I honestly believe it is.
People never pull for it. And, you know, when you talk about the great Guy Ritchie movies, people never pull this one.
I actually think, like, this one, again, it's only because I rejigged some stuff. And as I said, I punted it, thinking it was still on my list, but it didn't make it. I think it's because it was while he was in the height of Iron Man. He was still Tony Stark at this time. Had it been now that Sherlock had been released and, you know, the fanfare had died down, I really don't want to say this. Well, she doesn't listen anyway.
No.
But you know what I'm saying? The contracts come to an end.
A certain someone meets a certain someone in Avengers Endgame. We say no more.
Yeah, well, this is it. We all know the contracts, where the contract's at. So it's like, you know, now I think people will be like, oh, like, had he done this instead of Doolittle, I think the fans will be all over it.
No, agreed. Anyway, that was my number 10. For the reasons I described. Now, my number 9, here's my first comic book entry. I am bringing in the slow motion gun shootout from a movie we brought up last week, Dredd.
Yes. That was
so cool. So fucking cool. Now, I love the fact, I mean, even the drug that they use in this movie is called slow-mo, right?
Yeah.
It heightens your senses and it slows the whole world down. And I'd just like to say, the way he kills Mama at the end by making her take a hit of slow-mo so she sees her incoming death that much more slowly. That is some twisted, sick, brilliant fuckery. I love it. It's like, how am I going to really mess with you while killing you? You're going to feel this in slow-mo.
You know, that could have been a reminder that Mama's not the law.
I am the law. Carl Urban, please come back and make another goddamn movie. I tweeted him. He didn't reply.
Fair enough.
Not surprised. But
you're busy being Billy Butcher, the Australian.
Yeah, he's busy being Billy Butcher, exactly. But no, the slow-mo shootout in Dredd, I love it because they really bring the audience in. I mean, you can never go full drug in a movie, obviously, but they try to go as close as they can because the violence level is turned up, the saturation is turned. The vibrance of the colors is turned up. Everything becomes grotesque. You see every single dismemberment in slow-mo. And it was such an announcement to be like, fuck Stallone, even though we love Stallone, fuck the Stallone version of Judge Dredd. This is Dredd.
Yeah. No, I could work with that. Yeah, bro, by all means. No, that's an awesome one. Slip the net, if I'm honest. Slip the net. I did remember it. Didn't even put... Sometimes I think of stuff and my phone's not at my hand and I don't get to put it into my list of stuff. So, yeah, well played and thank you. Is the only way I can word that one.
No worries. My number 8, my second comic book movie. I'm going to give you a clue.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I went with Yondu shows his. What was the title I gave this? Hang on, I think Yondu's Revenge, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, because we all know that we've known that Yondu is powerful, right?
Yeah.
We've always kind of seen him as almost like this, a space scallywag, so to speak. You know? From the first one, it's like he took out a few guys with the Yara arrow. Okay, cool. He takes out a prison here. Like, this isn't 5-10 guys where he's going. This is some. This has some scale. Like, there is some scale to this revenge, and he just shows how freaking powerful he is. And in this moment, he really solidifies himself as a guardian. It's like, okay, we like you. You are cool. All right. You're a lot more than the guy who I told my man they could eat you. You know what that's like? He's like, no, you're a lot more than that now. And
yeah, he's Mary Poppins, bitch.
But they build it so well. It's the fear of when he gets his red mohawk,
Yeah.
when they all go, ah, shit, is that they know that? Yeah, it's game over time.
Yeah. No, that's a big one. That's a big one. I must admit, have to revisit that, which I will be in a couple of weeks. But yeah, Yondu's all kind of cool, so I'm down for that.
She's gonna cry at the end of Guardians 2.
Oh, I know she will.
May have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. Oh,
yeah.
It's such a good line.
Oh, it is. And the fireworks. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, even I'm welling up.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I still don't understand how we live in a day and age where people are like, fuck those Marvel movies. It's like, just have fun.
This revisiting, I swear to you, because even for me, you've done it, and like I've had to slow down. I'm on low key. I slowed down low key to go back onto this because I can't be watching it. And coming in, and
you were like halfway through.
Exactly, it's there. So I'm like, oh, she woke up.
Not anymore, I'm afraid, AJ. It's at the end. Just so you know, you were 27 minutes in.
Do you know what? There's something I'm gonna at the end of this. Remind me, I need to talk to you about that because we're going to do something else shortly to avoid those confusions. But yeah, like I'm in the middle of Loki and all of this, and I just thought like all that needs to be done. Sorry, where was I? What was I saying? Yeah, it's those moments of gloriousness that I will be revisiting. But no, Yondu's cool. Like, but yeah, I had to give up Loki because I had to go back, and she can't know what Loki's up to.
No, she cannot.
No, this is it. So yeah, but no, big up for that one. I like that. Guardians need some love, man. But yeah, no, this is what I was saying. Sorry for the tangent. I wasn't sure if I could do those phases again just yet because I'm progressive. But like going back, I was like, man,
it's brilliant.
And there's a new appreciation for some of these films. Like even Dark World, I was like, wow, okay, not great. No, bro, it's not great, but I was like, yeah, okay. Like it had
Dark World will always have
moments.
It's that line that Loki drops in Dark World that just makes me laugh every time. It's when they've taken one of the Dark Elf's little type scooter things, and that's it. I kind of remember Jane gets hit, and Loki sort of looks at him and goes, "Oh dear, is she dead?" It's like, you dick, you're such a cunt. Oh dear.
Yeah, but going back, do you know what it is? I think as well, having watched Loki episode 1. And then going back to that and seeing when he says, take the stairs on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, trust me, it hits that bit more, man. It hits that bit more. You're like, oh, man, yeah. But no, it's been good. It's been good.
So
but anyway.
Over to your 7.
Over to my 7. This is one of the first scenes that jumped into my head when I pictured slow-mo. Hans Gruber, the Nakatomi Plaza.
All you.
Bro, like you can't talk awesome without talking like Die Hard and awesome kind of thing, don't they? And that drop at the end. For some reason, I'm just picturing all these stuff, and I started to picture a load of drops. Like again, Mufasa, and I'm like, that's not awesome. That's heartbreaking. Like a lot of the drops. Gwen Stacy, that's not awesome. That's heartbreaking. Hans Gruber, you're like, you got the fucker.
You know what? I'll tell you what, though. If you'd wanted to make an argument for Gwen Stacy, I would have listened, just because it was awesome the way they brought the comic panel literally to life.
In that sense, yes, I have always said that. I have always said that. I remember, again, I'm the biggest comic book fan to have never read a comic book. Like, I always put it that way, in that vein. Like, it was after. All of my shit was research. So Gwen wasn't, like, I knew Mary Jane. I watched the cartoons on Fox Kids. I'm like, who are you talking about? Like, Gwen? Who's Gwen? Then my research.
How long have you had my copy of Civil War now?
No, you've got that's different. This is what I'm saying. Stuff after. I'm talking about the initial research. You were still in Thailand when this was what I'm talking about here. Just as Avengers times. Right? And I found out about Gwen, and I started looking at Gwen, and I've learned about that drop a million times. You know, seen it from different ways. That when I saw it, without even physically having read that specific comic, to know how close to the panels it was, I was like,
wow. Yeah.
And
but Hans Gruber.
But yeah, back to Hans Gruber. Like, this guy had been the ultimate bastard at Christmas. Like, this was the ultimate naughty list for a Christmas party. He was that guy. And it was the final comeuppance for all that he's done. It's that hanging moment, and then it's that free slow-mo. There's always that, will he drop? Will the hero save him? And you just see him dropping, and it's that slow-mo, and then that cutaway to, I hope that's not a hostage. But that moment, it's iconic, man. It's iconic. I had to bring in Hans Gruber for that.
I'm not going to add much just because we have brought up Die Hard so much.
Bro, I didn't want to, but it just kept popping into my head. It just kept popping into my head as my film. And here's another person who, for some reason, we shit on him each time he comes up. I'm just going to jump into my number 6. Yet he keeps coming up in films. I must be a secret fan of this guy. I'm talking Kevin Costner in The Untouchables, the stroller scene.
Yeah, bro, do you know what? I've never seen The Untouchables.
This goes back, I swear to you, if I was 10, so we're talking at least 15 years ago, I must have seen this film. Sky Movies, we all know who the Untouchables are, a group of cops on their mission to take down, I was going to say Al Capone. Yeah, it is Al Capone led by Elliot Ness. Yeah. And there is this awesome scene that it stops your heart. They're having a gun shootout in this build. I think it's a train station, and there's a mother with the stroller, and you can see it, and you're like, "What's going to happen?"
It's Grand Central, isn't it?
It may well be, bro. As I said, it looks like it's Grand Central from here, but I don't want to quote anything and be wrong. As I said, it's been ages, but this scene sticks in my head. From the minute you see her with the stroller, and you can see all the guns coming out, you're like, "Oh, please don't kill the mother." This, that, and the other. You feel all the moments, and then the panic comes in. She lets go of the stroller, and you can just see it bouncing down the stairs, and the slow-mo kicks in, and you have this tension, absolute tension of, oh God, what's going to happen to the baby? There are guns bouncing everywhere. And I'm just going to bring up the scene one more time for you. Where are we? Here we are. One of the Untouchables is there, and it's literally the coolest jump you can picture, because he comes in, jumps, stops the baby, and has a gun shooting at the enemy. Like, it is, you're like, whew, but like, wow, what a save. What a save. Superheroes don't always wear capes, trust me. It's a sweet moment. It's a sweet moment. Yeah. So I can't touch too much. I can't even tell you what station it was. You might be very right with Grand Central. It
looks like Grand Central, but it could just as easily be Chicago Terminal.
No, this is it. Which could be, because where were the Untouchables? Were they in Chicago, weren't they?
I thought they were in New York, but bro, I'm not well versed.
We're not going to deviate. But to be fair, The Untouchables it's a decent watch. But I always remember, and as I said, we're talking over 15 years. But that scene stuck in my head, and it's one of those iconic moments. And it's not often I think we'll be able to bring up The Untouchables. So definitely was a moment to bring it up. Good old Kevin Costner once again. He's been very popular in season 4. Don't ask why. Anyway.
It's all you, me.
That was my number 6. Over to you, sir.
Well, a guy who's forever unpopular on the Silver Screen Dudes show, but I am going to bring him in here because I'm talking about a Michael Bay film.
All right.
Not Will Ferrell. Don't worry. It's not that deep. It's not that deep, mate.
I was like, wow.
I've forever said that the first 3 Transformers movies, despite the fact that I recognize that they are flawed, because I'm a fanboy, not only can I forgive them, I actually get quite a lot of enjoyment out of them. Like, for me, they're not just guilty pleasures. I legitimately enjoy the first 3 Transformers movies, right? 4 and 5 can suck a dick, right? But the criticism that came let me bring up the scene first. I'm talking about from Revenge of the Fallen, which of those first two movies is arguably the weakest of the three. But Revenge of the Fallen, the forest scene when Optimus Prime takes on the Decepticons. Okay? Now, there is a very, very good argument that people made, a criticism that people made with the first movie in terms of, story aside, I'm talking about from a visual perspective, there was quite a resounding criticism, which was pull the camera back a bit. The action felt a bit difficult to follow, you know. It was because essentially, you know, the way that Michael Bay designed his Transformers, which is why people call them the Bayformers, is that they weren't blocky anymore, the way that the old Generation 1 Transformers were, you know, very defined legs, very defined feet, very defined torsos and arms. Some of the designs of the Transformers in this, while they didn't personally bother me, bothered a lot of people, and I get why. It was all very, very metal all over the place. And when the camera was in so close like it was in number one, it was undoubtedly at some points hard to follow. Man, did they fix that in number two. Now, if you're a big Transformers nerd like I am, there's a lot of lines that are said in this forest scene because, okay, this is an old movie now. I think this dates back to 2007 or maybe 2009, right? So, sorry if I'm spoiling this, but in this forest scene, Optimus Prime dies, right? Now, oh, it's so good. It's not like in the fucking Transformers animated movie where Prime's death literally breaks me every time. I'm a nerd, forgive me. This is like they took lines from famous Transformers comics and from famous Transformers moments and interloped them into this scene. So from a fanboy perspective, they hit all the right beats. But in terms of what they did with the story, is it's Optimus essentially taking on 3 Decepticons and Megatron. One of the Decepticons is also Starscream, the right-hand man, right? But the camera has been pulled right back. So you see them not like sort of metal jumbling in front of the screen like this, but the camera has been pulled right back. You see them in their full, long, elongated, extended glory, the Transformers. And they're picking up trees. And they're going full on like the Thing. It's clobbering time. And, you know, I mean, it's fucking awesome. Optimus basically takes his fists and puts them into his arms and comes out with that iconic axe and hook that he has. And it's like, oh, we're going full geek here. Bring it on. And he starts ripping the Decepticons apart in slow-mo. And I'm like, I mean, this is definitely what I need as a Transformers fan. This hits all the spots for me. Even then when, you know, fuck Michael Bay, but to his credit, the one thing he nailed in these first 3 movies is when Optimus goes on his rampages. Like, it's such fun. Like, Prime takes an ass whooping to start with, then the fists go in and the claws come out, and he's like, I'll take you all on. And then the music kicks in, and he does. And then, you know, but he's still taking a bit of an ass whooping. Sam, where are you, Sam? And then you see the fucking blade go through him. And you just hear Megatron's voice, you're so weak. And it's like, they even put a line in there. You know, for me, little Transformers fan, I was like, I am geeking out in the best way here. This, to quote Vince McMahon, there's some good shit right here. Fuck Michael Bay with the Fire of 1,000 Suns for those latter 2 Transformers movies and for that bullshit of disrespect called Pain and Gain. But that scene's fun, man. That scene's all sorts of fun.
As I said, there was a time I was going to take on the Transformers. I have them all, and I was ready to do it. For some reason, I stopped at 2, and I was enjoying it. So I don't know why I stopped. I can't remember what it is. I know we have the pod, so I don't always have the most time in the world. But I will revisit it. So I can't comment or add, but it sounds all kinds of cool. That's the most I could add to it.
No, it's fun. It's fun. The first 3 Transformers movies are cool and fun films. If you're going in there for a plot, my argument to you is it's about fucking alien cybernetic organisms that transform into cars and planes. What the fuck are you looking for? However, that argument dies after the 3rd movie because then he takes the piss.
Fair enough. I will be going to the first. I will finish it one day. Who knows? After the MCU, we may be doing Transformers.
I don't think that's for her.
Bro, I don't know. Stranger shit has happened. She enjoyed Iron Man. Not that it's bad, but hey, it's happened.
No, that's great.
Everything's
Anyway,
possible.
that was my 7. So
Yep.
you see, I can be objective despite my hatred for Michael Bay. I can be like, but that was good. Right. My number 6. We've never brought this movie up. It's a Chinese movie. Some would argue a Hong Kong movie. Sorry if I'm being culturally insensitive. It's not intentional.
Be careful, John Cena got done for that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know this. But there's also, so on the notes of John Cena, there's also a rumor that McMahon's trying to open up a fucking pay-per-view event in China and physically ordered him to say, retract that shit. So,
You wouldn't be shocked.
and you just, exactly. You hear that and it's like, that sounds more plausible than John Cena being a bad human. It really does.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
If it's not, then McMahon, that's on you for fucking 30 years of being a dick. That's some good shit right there. Right, my number 6. We've never brought up this movie. It is a Far Eastern movie. There you go. Culturally appropriate. Stars the legendary Chow Yun-fat. I've not always been a fan of the wire work, especially in things like Crouching Tiger. No wire work here. This is just cool. So directed by your boy from Mission Impossible, John Woo. I'm going the tea house scene from Hard Boiled.
I've heard of this. I did not get a chance to see the film. I'm actually adding it to my list now because that's the second time it's come up to me. I didn't have a chance to see it, but I've heard it's an awesome scene.
Well, I'll say this. Is it... Some people say this is the best action movie ever. No. Because we all know that's true lies. It just is. Some people say it's the greatest Asian movie ever. No, I don't agree with that point either. But while this movie is, and this scene specifically, while this scene lacks the pageantry and the pizzazz of its big budget brothers from over in the West, you can tell that there's a movie that undoubtedly is going to come up very, very high on both of our lists. It got that from here.
Okay.
It got that from here. Like the way the angles are done, the idea of diving while shooting, the idea of taking out a whole room of people while things explode on the side. I mean, it's just John Woo hitting all of his, expected boxes. There's even doves in it at one point. Fuck, man. The man even put doves in Mission Impossible 2. It's like, hey, remember, it's a John Woo movie. It's like, I get it.
An explosion without a flying bird. Come on now. It's John
exactly.
Woo.
It's like, we know you like birds, John, especially doves. You love a white dove. We get it. But no, it's cool, man. It's like Chow Yun-fat goes full gangster. And as I said, the real thing to take away in this is that if you watch this expecting something like that movie we're going to bring up later, forget it. It's not even close. The technology didn't exist. This was a late 70s, early 80s movie, I believe. I may be wrong on that, but I believe it was. The tech wasn't there. So what
The
you have
tech
to
was
appreciate,
mastered in later on years, for sure.
what you have to appreciate is that while it lacks the CG aspects of making something slow-mo really cool, which is effectively what a lot of the movies we've brought up rely on. What this does show, and it speaks a lot for mastery of cinema, is that it shows that with some very, very well-conceived scene composition and camera angles, and actually knowing, this sounds really condescending to say, but I don't want to understate it, how to use a fucking camera, right? Which honestly, I look at some directors and I'm like, do you know how to set your aperture? Because I'm like, it just feels like some of these guys are, I've been given a big camera, put the aperture on f2.8. Now let's go to f22. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing
what?
this?
While you talk of that, and I can't get into the whole tech of it, but research it for anyone who's interested on how to master the camera work and slow-mo. The budget wasn't, you don't have any Tarantino, do you?
No, I do not.
Cool. Tarantino, the Reservoir Dogs, when they're all together and they're doing that slow-mo walk, that was mastering because he didn't have the budget to be able to do the slow-mo, and he just he layered it in somewhere or another, and that's there. So sometimes if the budget ain't there or the technology isn't there, you can be creative. And
it's just about recognizing I mean, he's known as a fucking action icon now, John Woo. But you have to respect what he's done with the scene, given that there is no tech involved. I'm sure there are some, when we talk special effects, I mean CGI specifically, computer-generated effects. There are obviously special effects going on here, miniature explosions to make it look like there's bullets going off. Of course, there's special effects in the broad scheme of things.
No, for sure.
But the way that he's composed each shot is really clever and very inspirational to latter-day action movies. And the way he's basically just used the minimalist tools at his disposal, which is, well, film and camera settings. Let's make a slow-mo. It's like, you have to appreciate what the man did for the time. It's like, you know what, mate? You had nothing at your disposal. Fucking fair play to you.
Preach. I like that. I like that one. Well, a film worth watching, yeah? Or is it just a scene? Because that does happen with some places.
No, it's deemed an Asian classic, so just for the sake of adding to your cinema knowledge, you should definitely watch Hard Boiled.
By all means, I've heard the name tons. In terms of research for this, it came up again. So yeah, like it's definitely got my attention.
Cool. What is your number 5?
Right, my number 5. This one's to put a smile on your missus's face. The slow-mo walk from Cyrus the Virus in Con Air. Now, I must admit, I was going through some stuff, and I was actually trying to find one where, like, you have certain things that you have. And one of the key things was I specifically searched for heroes walking away from the explosion, because that's one of those things that you always think. And to be fair, it was My Spy with Batista and the kid, because the kid always talks about, like, I want to do those cool walking away from explosions. And I'm like, which one was that? And I'm looking at all these different ones. And then Cyrus's one came up, and I actually thought it was all kinds of cool. Like, first of all, there is that very, very, I mean, Con Air is a cheese fest anyway, but that cheesy line where the guy's like, he wants to say, like, Sai, Yanara. So it's like, he's even taking a twist on his own name, drop the flame, bang goes the explosion. But he walks away, but everyone else who's been on his side, I mean, you're seeing Nicolas Cage saving himself, so there's that all kind of jumping through a window. It's got all the action notes that you need to tick, but he's walking away without any hesitation because he is that crazy. But it emphasizes how crazy he is because everyone else who's following him is turning around like, what the hell? Like,
wrestling reference for you. This is Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Think about how they walk to the ring.
Yeah. That's a good point. Very good point. It is that. Yeah, why not? That is a very good way of putting it down. But that's what it was. So walking away from explosion always has all kinds of levels of cool. I nearly went with Tony Scott. Is Tony Scott on your list?
Is Tony Scott on my list? That is a good question.
All right, more to the point, is Denzel Washington on your list?
No, he is not.
So I nearly done the explosion at the end where the C falls up a man's jacksie and he explodes and Denzel gives it a bit of a walk. That was also a cool walking away from explosion. But no, I thought, you know what, let's take the villain walking away from an explosion and how cold-hearted he was and how chilling he was compared to everybody, how chilled he was compared to everyone else, which gives him a bit more depth in his character. So yeah, Cyrus the Virus, Con Air.
Fair play, mate. Not much to add. I love that film and I love to hate that film. You know what I mean? It's a world of fun, but yeah. My number 5 is the punt from earlier, the street explosion from Swordfish. It's a serious achievement, this scene.
It is. Like, it's not just a room. It's got a lot to it. It has a lot to it. They mastered something which hasn't been brought up yet. And they've emphasized on that and given it a whole load of explosions. I like it from room to room to street and yeah.
And despite the fact that this has got so much tech behind it compared to Hard Boiled, much like Hard Boiled, you look at this scene now and it's like, I mean, this is kids play now for the Hollywood guys. They could do this without blinking. But back then, it's not that long ago, but back then, this had audiences going, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do this in cinema now. So it is quite a groundbreaking moment as far as CGI is concerned. I've never had the biggest love or even hate for the movie. I'm very ambivalent about it. There are scenes in it that I like. You know, the fucking bus obviously is a great scene. The blowjob while he's hacking is a great scene, although aged terribly. Talk about the fucking objectification of women. Wow. But obviously the standout scene is this street explosion, which, for those of you who haven't seen it, I mean, it's on YouTube. Go watch it. But and watch it in the frame of mind that this was made over 20 years ago now, I believe. And it is a full-on explosion going around a 360 panorama in a street, in an open street. It's quite something to behold.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's what I remember. Much like you, I don't want to dog the film and I don't want to praise the film. I just remember hearing that this film was hated by a lot and I watched it and I was like, why? Like, I didn't have an actual beef with the film.
It's fine.
Yeah, I had fun with it. I remember that. I'm not going to go deeper, but yeah, that explosion was the thing that stuck out to everyone. Love or hate, you can't hate the explosion scene of Swordfish. So yeah, it's a goodie. It is a goodie. And as you said, panoramic. The way, as I said, it starts off in, I think, a bank, and it goes through the rooms and into the street. And all that. It's beautiful. Absolute beauty. Thing of beauty.
Also, while on the topic of objectification, Halle Berry gets her boobies out in this movie, and I think got paid $250,000 to do so. Power to you.
Yeah, there we go.
Which back then was a lot of money.
You sound like Dr. Evil. $1 million. Sure. What?
Yeah. Now, nothing. Now we're talking about 250 million, not $250,000. But no, back then, fair play to her.
Hey, big stuff. Big stuff.
What's your 4?
Yeah, that was your number 5. Right, my number 4. Had to bring this in. I'm going with the Justice League, Superman, and the Flash making eye contact.
Do you want me to make you laugh?
Hit me, bro.
Nico's number 4. Superman sees the Flash.
Right, yeah, like, let's be honest, there is, we understand how fast the Flash and other superheroes of that nature can go. There's always been that age-old ending of a comic, which was the race between Superman and the Flash.
Superman wins.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I didn't even. No,
he should, because
he should do. He should. Oh, right, exactly. It's an unanswered question, but it's that moment of, we all know every superhero has their thing. Wonder Woman is indestructible. Superman is indestructible and can fly. Batman is rich. The Flash is fast.
And has breath and has laser beams and is bulletproof and
this is it.
Sound and Superman has all the toys.
Exactly. He has exactly every toy imaginable. He has. So when the Flash, like the Justice League, are trying to calm down Superman, if you would, and it's now on the Flash to join the party, as it were. So he's doing what he can do. He goes at rocket speed. The speed of light, in fact. Forget rocket speed. He moves at the speed of light. In fact, faster than the speed of light. He's coming in.
No, light moves faster than sound. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, light, yeah. And as he's doing what he's doing in full-on Flash mode, where the whole world is slowed down, Superman, who's fighting 4 other people, dare I say, slowly turns to make eye contact, as in, I see you.
And his reaction is a thing of beauty. Ah!
Yeah, that fact of, we're actually making eye contact. No one's ever done that. Like, guys, if you are on pod, I implore you, please, 52 minutes in on this podcast, just go to YouTube and just check that moment, if nothing else. Because those visuals there, where those two make eye contact, is golden. Now, I'm talking on a non-Snyder cut. The film known as Justice League wasn't the easiest pill to swallow. That moment stuck. It sticks like no other. Like, no matter what you think, the kids love it. The older generation hate the film. I'm just basing this off of Zany's reaction compared to our reaction. However, in that moment, we were all like, whoa.
And once again, makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. Perfect sense. So,
I will say this, though. Justice League Snyder Cut, good film.
That's coming.
Not great. But good film.
I think it's a gradual improvement for sure. So that was both of our number 4s. So back over to me then, right? Number 3.
Your number 3.
My number 3, bear with me, is this scene from Snatch. The punch.
Oh, nice job.
Bro,
night.
Yeah. Well, partially, yeah. So this is Brad Pitt in Snatch. Again, this is a film that is a silver screen dude favorite. Guys, if you have not seen Snatch, and I'm talking to our friends across the pond. I think this was huge in the UK. How much it was outside of the UK, I don't know. So for anyone actually, and it's on Netflix UK for sure at the moment, do check out Snatch. And so Nikki is played by Brad Pitt. Or Brad Pitt plays Mickey, is the way I wanted to word it. A traveler who's pretty good with his fists. And here we are.
You're calling him a traveler. That's very diplomatic of
you. Bro, because I'm aware of where we are. When we're talking of aging sensitive, like aging badly, I don't know how much pikey he worked.
You said it. It's out. Cat's out the bag. Monkey's out the cage.
I called him a traveler. I'm just saying the term he was referred to in the film is a pikey. So yeah, he's good with his fists, and he's in a fight, and his manager is Turkish, played by Jason Statham. This is what put Jason on the map for any Statham fans out there. And in the match, what's meant to happen is Mickey's meant to fall. Mickey's meant to take that fall. If not, his mum will be torched in her caravan, which is very disgusting, but this is how the evil Bricktop operates. Mickey has given this father one dirty punch in the beginning. Dirty punch. And it so it happens, and it's like, oh god, this is going to go wrong. And Turkish, everyone is shitting themselves that this could go wrong, apart from Bricktop, who's like, go on, screw me, I will screw with you. And then comes this punch from this street fighter to Mickey. And Mickey literally, and I'm going to bring up the image one more time because it is that cool, propels off the air. It's not drops in the knockout punch. He propels in the air, both feet off the ground, floats, and you get this awesome slow-mo moment as the body contorts and lands into the ground, and followed by this is Guy Ritchie gold as far as I'm concerned. Lands into the mat, but you're seeing it from a visual representation of what's going on in Mickey's mind, and he drops into the water, drop into the very lowest depths of the sea. We can continue. He kicks out. In fact, you know what? Watch the film. That's how much. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Something really cool, AJ, for you you like me, such a fan of this film. Go to YouTube and watch how they made that shot.
Oh, that would be nice. Actually, that will be nice. But yeah, I just found it a thing of beauty, an absolute thing of beauty. The way he floats, contorts, flows down into the water. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, credit to Brad, but full kudos to Guy Ritchie for that shot. Like full on. Yeah.
Right, my number 3, my 4th comic book movie now. But it is the punt from earlier, which is, I've called it Leonidas Goes Beast Mode from 300. Now, the This Is Sparta kick is obviously the first thing that came to my mind because it's that iconic. But then I really thought about it and I was like, you know what? Nah, it's when he breaks away from the phalanx defensive shield position and he throws that spear at the first Persian and goes, for lack of a better term, beast mode.
Do you know another one that nearly made the scene? And this is why I'm like 300 has a load of these moments. It's when he talks
about falling off the cliff.
Well, there's that, but it's the build up to the closing moment. He takes off his shield so he can see better. All of that. That I thought was an awesome moment of slow mo as well. I know.
Bro, even when they're all fucking lying flat dead, that way the camera slowly pans up, it looks like a bloody Renaissance painting.
Yeah.
It's crazy, that film.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, Leonidas going beast mode and literally chopping down every single Persian in his track to the sound of doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. It's like, yeah.
It's amazing how the soundtracks go now. I think I cut you off earlier, but we're talking like Massive Attack with Snatch. This one is real steampunk rock. It really gives you something to...
No, it's brilliant. Do you want to talk about your kick, considering we punted from earlier?
Yeah. Hey, do you know what it is? Is that, as I always say, 300 was the film I regret not going to the cinema for more than anything.
You have said this before. You have indeed.
I have indeed, and I will probably never stop. And I'm watching this film, and again, I'm into Greco-Roman history. I nearly said Greco-Roman tragedy. Ang Lee is stuck in my head. I hate that man. But anyway, and I'm watching this film, and I'm like, this is interesting, but it's building. And then you have this message, and you just see the mentality of the Spartans by this huge kick that just emphasizes it. Like, you've heard of Don't Shoot the Messenger? He didn't shoot him.
You're a madman.
Yeah, exactly. He just kicks the messenger into the pit. Now, why did the Spartans even have a pit? Like, let's go into this even more.
Yeah.
There it was. That's how you deal with the messenger in Sparta. Followed by a message of, this is Sparta. Now, the problem is, no one's going to then pass the message back on because the messenger's in the pit of hell. But hey, let's not get into that.
This is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So that
Still, do you know what? In that scene, I'm sorry, Lena Headey steals the show in that scene. She really does. What business does a woman think she has to talk amongst men? Because only Spartan women give birth to real men. Oh! Shit!
Silence. Yeah, no, there's so much power in that film, man. So much power. But yeah, to me, that was the like you know, like from enjoyment and reclining to you have my attention. That's what what that kick was. So that's why I toyed with, like, as I said, that scene of where he's about to take the spear, not the same spear you talked about, but I just thought, no, that scene that set the tone of what 300 is really about. That's where I came in.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. What's your number 2, mon ami?
Right, number 2, I had to go to the other speedster. If we're going to talk DC, you have to talk Marvel as well. The man that is Quicksilver, that just awesome. Just
Do you want me to make you laugh?
Again?
Nico's number 2.
Yeah.
I've just labeled this one. Flash shows his true powers.
Flash or Quicksilver?
Sorry, Quicksilver shows his true powers. Fuck me. Thank you for schooling me correctly. Well done.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? And there is no in between on this. Without what Marvel had done, even though it was Fox, let's say, had done with a speedster in the form of, sorry, let's get this right. Because of their scene that Quicksilver's done, it enabled us to go back to what was the Justice League scene, where they really showed how slow the rest of the world is compared to the speedster. Because normally you just see everything go fast. You know, if you take, this is all kinds of cheese fest, the 1990s Flash TV series, it was just him going fast and everything else was a blur. This one just shows how slow the world is to them, a speedster. And that's why I think it was just all kinds of awesome. And it plays on Quicksilver's humoristic side as well, that as much as he's doing a mission, he's doing this, he's doing that, you know, make sure he puts on the glasses, he have a sip of coffee, like push faces around, have guys punching each other. It's just, yeah, like the precision in all of it. I was like, yeah, you've nailed it. You've nailed it.
Yeah, mate, it was balletic. You know what? I have absolutely no, well, that's not true. I've got little to no love for the Fox X-Men franchise. And I really mean that. I just think, considering the wealth of lore, LORE, that they had at their disposal, to not be able to formulate continuity over the course of so many damn movies and just rely on moments, I think they just didn't fucking bring
you know where they fluffed their lines?
They really just didn't. However, when we talk about moments, I'm sorry to say this, love for Joss Whedon after what he did with the 2 Avengers movies, but what Bryan Singer, the way he conceived Quicksilver, superior to what the MCU put out.
But yeah, this is it. This is it. Like, he done something that I think, because Quicksilver was introed there first, they were like, we can't touch that, and never have they attempted to, because it's like it is just blatant mirroring. It will be, but and I think that's why they killed him off.
WandaVision. You saw when they brought Evan Peters into WandaVision.
Yeah.
He was more like the MCU Quicksilver with the way he was moving around. They weren't doing that slow-mo stuff.
Yeah. They know it. You will just be known as the guys who took the other guy's idea, and that's what was detrimental to them. Yeah, do you know what I think Fox's biggest problem was? They were just too Wolverine heavy. It was so much. Like, give us a Cyclops origin, a Storm origin.
You're absolutely wrong. Fox's biggest problem was there was this big sign above the door when you went to the third floor at Fox Studios where they made the X-Men, and the sign read "Continuity Schmontinuity."
Well, this is it.
Fox's biggest problem.
This is it. It's true, and it was sad. First 2 films, awesome. Third, I appreciated it a tad more, but I still hate the hell out of it upon revisiting. I hate it. First Class was good, and then they just started to dwindle down again. And
I am weirdly an X-Men Apocalypse defender. I had fun with it, but it's not great. It's not great.
I had fun with it, but it's just like everything has its moment. Do you know what I mean? It's just, to me, it's 1 to First Class, and then I could talk about the rest. That's just the way I feel.
I'm with you completely.
And then anything to touch the Phoenix is just disgusting.
And then you've got a load of fanboys screaming at us going, "What about Logan?" I don't get it.
What about it? What about it? Please tell me what about it. Comment below. Right now, comment below, because I want to know what about it.
No, this movie is loved, mate. And I'd give it... Bro, I've tried so many times with this fucking Logan movie. I just don't get why people are like, it's a Western going X-Men. It's like, I don't want that in my life.
I have a soft spot for X-23 because I'm an X-Men Evolution fan. Aside from that, not a thing. Sorry, it's just real. It's just real. Right, so that was our joint number 2.
What's your worst?
Because of what it was, I talked about how Zack Snyder done awesome in Justice League. In the Snyder Cut, he ripped it. And this is why I'm bringing up Barry Allen trying to save that woman. Well, not trying to. He saves a lady and tries to just... It was a complete rip-off.
But that was Iris, you know that.
Carry on?
That lady he saved was Iris, you know that.
I'll be honest, I haven't finished the film. But yeah, probably. I just want
No,
to say...
you don't need to finish the film. She doesn't appear again. That lady was Iris.
Okay, fair enough. Even yeah, cool. That it makes logical sense that it was Iris he would have saved, because who else would Barry save? Not a hero, but no, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, I just found it that they tried to hit every beat and tried to do the same humor that you found in the Fox world of Speed, and it just killed it. I think they mastered it with that stare down, but this scene was just, you literally took something from someone else's playbook, and I was like, nah. Hence why I also say Marvel.
Can we quickly go back to that little nugget of information you've just shared with myself and the Silver Screen dudes? Someone not seen the Snyder Cut till the end?
It's 4 hours. Who's got 4 hours? Most people.
Everyone on the comic book group who's watched it.
I don't think my brother's finished it yet, and I don't think Zany has started it. It's a Jordan.
Zany, you fucked up because you like that movie.
I know. Who knows? Tonight might be my night. I'm away from
the it's fun. Watch it.
Bro, really? Listen, it is just what it is. It's just the way things have been. Especially around the time Snyder Cut came out was a bit of a dodgy time, as you.
Yeah. In the nicest possible way, get on it.
Bro, listen, it's there. Because even now I'm thinking of it. I'm like, yeah, I can actually. I've got some time. It may be. Ooh. Between Snyder Cut and the boys. We'll see.
Just do the Snyder Cut. Because it's done. The Boys is much longer than the Snyder Cut, mate.
Yeah. Cool.
And if you part way there, can I tell you, the third act radically different to the original movie. Up until now, you've probably just seen extra scenes here and there. The moment you get to about the halfway point, the movie is a different fucking film. Cool.
All right. Yeah, so that might be AJ's viewing for tonight. But yes, that was it, because it was. Those. You must have seen it. When you order on Amazon, when you order on Wish, that's exactly what I felt that was. Like, that was when you ordered on Wish. Yeah. So that was my worst. Over to you, sir.
Well, listen, I praise Michael Bay. I can't let the fucker slide on the same episode, now can I? I have to readdress the multiverse here. So I've praised him. Let's come back onto the normal timeline. Fuck Michael Bay, because this movie sucks. And it's that batshit bollocks he did with Ryan Reynolds on Netflix called Six Underground.
I've refused to watch this because of the press. I've refused to watch it. To be fair, the trailers didn't tempt me. I was like, you're going to create batshit, like bullshit. And everyone came back and said that. I've had zero to no interest in this film.
Bro, it is an offense to the fucking senses. It's like all the good things that Michael Bay can do in movies like 13, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, the specific scenes in the original Transformers movies. I will not fucking bring up Armageddon because that movie is not good. Despite everyone saying, it's great. No, it's not. It is really, 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 really not. And then everyone's defensive for Armageddon is, but you're overthinking it. It's like, there's not much to think about. There's just one little fucking plot detail that makes no sense. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. It's not a good film. Right. But Six Underground, bro. This opening scene is where I went, nope. I stopped. And the whole of the opening scene, how's this for fucking logic, right? Let's go with the X-Men analogy. What's Magneto's power?
Can bend metal. Control metal.
Why the fuck is he hiding in a forest?
Yeah.
Right? That level of stupid logic. In a chase, what are you trying to convey?
One person after the other, right? Escape.
In terms of rapidité, are we going for slow or fast if it's a chase?
It would be speed, naturally.
Speed! Power! To quote Jeremy Clarkson. What does the fucker do? Here's a fast scene with all these souped up supercars going through the streets. Let's do it in slow-mo. Why?
That's
stupid. Look, let me bring the image up for you again. This shot, slow-mo. You see that car? This Audi? Sorry for those of you listening on podcast. You see this shit? The whole fucking chase is slow-mo.
That's weird.
Why would you choose to do that?
See, if you're going to tell me something like a drift and you want a
in
slow-mo
that.
and drift, I can take that. I could buy like a slow-mo and a drift, but it's naturally speed. Speed can, yeah, as you said, what do you convey in a chase? It's that.
No. But of course you can do a slow-mo and a drift. That's cool, right? And okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit saying legitimately the whole thing is shot as a slow-mo, but it's every single frame. It's like we're going fast and then slow. It's like, bro, every fucking frame? Seriously? Has someone fucking just given Michael Bay a, what do they call the red cam and gone, here, this is fun, play with this. Okay, I'll play with this. I'll make some things go boom and slow-mo. Yay! This fucking guy.
It sounds appropriate.
This fucking guy. Ah!
It sounds like a Bayism.
Yes! Literally. I was like, bro, I was waiting for this fucking car they were driving, and I was like, any moment that thing is going to transform. Wait for it.
Well, again, looking at that scene, this a car in midair, just legs and arms appear.
Any moment, Sideswipe or Sunstreaker are coming out of it. Wait for it. Is that 6 Underground? It's 6 Autobots. It's the sequel we didn't know was coming. No. Fuck that man.
Okay, fair enough.
Everything he stands for.
The multiverse has been realized.
Boom! Yay! Money! Dickhead.
We have the right Nico in this multiverse. Yeah.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
We're not violating any TVA laws here.
No. Right, on to my number one.
We both have the same number one. Let's just be real.
It has to be. Whoa. And literally, this is just one scene of many.
So what's interesting is you've basically got the same scene here. So what AJ has just brought up for those who are listening on podcasts is the image, the iconic image of Neo bullet time dodging the agent's shots on top of the roof, right? I would argue that's the end of the scene. I've gone for the beginning of the scene, which is obviously guns. Lots of guns.
This is it. This
in
is
the
it.
lobby. It's all one scene, bro. It's the Matrix lobby scene. They start in, they go through the door, they tear the lobby apart, it finishes on the roof. It's all the same scene for me.
Yeah.
So not only have we picked the same movie, we've picked the same damn scene. Obviously.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know what? If we are going to talk about it, especially if we're going to talk about the lobby scene, because obviously Trinity jumps in the air at the beginning. I always remember VHS. My dad finding out the Matrix is coming out on this day. My dad gets up extra early, goes to Tesco's, buys this video, and not only is he so excited about this, my dad, like you can quote me Biker Mice from Mars or Gargoyles. I can't talk these stuff because the TV was never on in my house before going to school. Never, right? So like summer holidays, I just missed them. Like it was the big break. Like holiday TV was different, so I never saw these guys. My dad puts the tape into the video player, presses fast forward, and was like, "We're gonna go, but you guys need to see this. We're watching this tonight, but you guys need to see this." And that was it. We saw the lobby scene. Like that is how I'm mad and iconic the lobby scene is. My dad broke his cardinal rule of the TV not coming on before school for the lobby scene.
It's a good rule. Fair play to your dad, to be fair. Hey,
did it work? I don't know, but it was just a rule.
Put it this way. You know how we were talking about the snowball effect of discussions, right? It's certainly affected me enough because I'm going to make that a rule with my daughter.
Well, there you go. There we are. So that works. There we are. But the lobby scene, it is one scene, and there are so many cool moments. And yes, let's be honest. If you're going to talk the Matrix is the inventor or master, should I say, of bullet time. And bullet time is slow-mo in its purest essence. So if we couldn't, you can't talk of awesome slow-mo and not quote the Matrix. That's all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, look, there's you have to take what AJ just said, although correctly, with a pinch of salt. This is the master of the bullet time. This is what created a generation of copycats. But let's be under no illusion. The Matrix is inspired by movies like the aforementioned Hard Boiled.
That's why I corrected it when I said inventor.
And like old Japanese animation movies like Akira and Ghost in the Shell. It gets a lot of its ideas from over there.
For sure. But in a live action sense, when you're looking at bullet time, like you see a lot of shit in cartoons that you wouldn't necessarily see in film. They brought it to film. Yes, Hard Boiled had it, but they really took it to the forefront. They westernized it. They made it big. They made it popular. if we're going to be ultra fair. So, yeah.
Yeah, so The
That's
Matrix. Right, now, what I can tell you about the Twitter question that I put out this week, which was obviously what's the best badass slow-mo action scene. Honestly, mate, the only thing that fucking made the list for everyone, lobby scene in The Matrix. Everyone pulled that. And I get it. I completely fucking get it. But just for the sake of making a poll a bit interesting, should we phrase the question to JT? Badass slow-mo scenes in capitals, excluding The Matrix.
I mean,
just because it's a redundant poll.
It's a crush, isn't it? It's just a matter of who came first, fourth, second, and third, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Why did I say it in that order?
You're special. You're just different. It's fine.
I work in pairs and then go to the unevens. Like, what the hell? Okay, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to put The Matrix on. So we're on record now on YouTube and on podcast to say we acknowledge, given that it was both of our number ones, and given that everyone on Twitter, when we put the message out, follow us on Twitter at Movie Mount Rushmore, everyone picked The Matrix. The question is, what is the point of doing a poll where everyone is going to vote for the same thing? Then it's just not a poll. There's no point.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
Which now makes the Rushmore more interesting.
Well, we have a joint number 2, so essentially he's now become number 1.
I am fine with that, though.
You see what bugs me? Yeah. I don't necessarily then want to put the stare down between Flash and... Because I feel like it's the same scene, just in different clothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It is a lot different because it's a reaction shot, which makes it kind of cooler. But I want to put Justice League on the shelf because I think there's more that we can work with. I would like to put the scene, but I don't know how much love it would get. Mickey's punch.
Mickey's punch. I'm not opposed. I actually think the street explosion in Swordfish needs to be on there.
Yes. Sorry, let's start making notes now. That was another one that crossed my mind. So those two are for sure. The other joint is 300. And we've got
different scenes in there.
But it's a film. We did say the film.
No, the title is Top 10 Badass Slow Motion Scenes. So we've got different scenes. So effectively, now we have to fight with the scenes. I suppose, okay, to your credit, and just knowing what the Twitterverse is like, if we were to pick 300, we would have to go This Is Sparta.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. I'm happy to go This Is Sparta.
I think I was going to say, I think that is the more iconic, isn't it?
Well, it is, 100%. If I put Leonidas Beast Mode, people are going to be like, the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 3. I know how huge the Untouchables was, but it's not there.
Is it worth putting the international movie on? For the movie connoisseurs and those who are snobs but proclaim not to be? Oh, yes, an Asian movie, darling. Put that on.
Can I be fair? Even if you took the Asian away, the time. Yeah. That I'm not opposed to. The only thing is, because of it, I just don't want it to get buried. I know I haven't seen it.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. Not with the audience that we have and that JT has. I think people will recognize
I get it. Do you know what? It's especially after Chinatown took a hit the last time, and no, that's not a reference to us just talking about the Far East in general. I'm just talking about.
Actually, Chinatown did get fucking flattened, didn't it?
It got fucked, and that's the same reason I'm scared for Snatch. In the general, I would have fought hard for Snatch. I would have fought very hard.
They're fucked on this list, mate.
Honestly, the one that
what else would you want in there?
The only one that hits me in terms of iconicity is the the staircase from, and it is pretty badass, from Untouchables. I would even go for that over Hans Gruber. For me, on my list.
Most definitely. Die Hard is vetoed, remember? We don't do Die Hard on the poll anymore.
Oh, right, fair enough. I forgot that.
It's up there with Shawshank and Star Wars. It just wins everything.
I'm just trying to think what you mentioned in your... Sherlock is cool.
But, bro, I see we've got 4 here.
But, bro, I'm just making sure that you're on Untouchables over anything else.
No. Without Untouchables, we had 4.
Being, I've got Quicksilver, Swordfish, 300.
And Hard Boiled. But
you're good to go with that. You don't think it's
yeah. That's kind of what I'd like to go with. Just giving away the Rushmore, but yeah, that's kind of what I like to go with.
For the record of it, there's no point in me reading out the wrong thing. Like, oh, I thought you meant that. Would have been a bit more embarrassing. So yeah, all right, I'm down with that. I listen. I've heard of the film forever, so I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't.
It's an iconic Asian, gunfighting slow-mo scene. You can't. I think it would kind of be a diss to slow-mo to leave it off.
No, fair enough. That's all good by me.
Happy to go with that?
Yeah. No, I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official Movie Mount Rushmore of badass slow-mo scenes in no particular order is...
Quicksilver doing his bits.
Our second entry is...
Swordfish, the explosion.
Our third entry is...
Hard boiled.
Our final entry into the Movie Mount Rushmore of badass slow-mo scenes is...
300. This is Sparta. I had to leave. That's why I had to do that. Yeah.
And I emphasize again, guys, above all of those is The Matrix.
100%. 100%. Right. Okay, guys. Why were we talking about Twitter so much and the polls and people understanding? Because what it is, we, the Silver Screen Dudes, have this huge challenge of trying to figure out what should be the top 4 films. That's a challenge. You just saw how we had to decide that. It gets even harder for you because, to quote Highlander, there can only be one. So we have picked the 4 films which are on the Rushmore, but you have to pick the most awesome slow-mo scene in a film. So once again, you have Swordfish, Hard Boiled, Quicksilver, and 300. There we are. Just done it in a bit of
Quicksilver's not a movie. We mean X-Men Days of Future Past. But yes, carry on.
It was the scene. It was the scene. That's why I said Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 300. So there we are. That's the time, guys. So all you have to do is vote on either at Movie MT Rushmore, the Silver Screen Dudes official Twitter page, or at Movie Polls for You. And no, you cannot vote twice because we will be retweeting what JT from We Love Movies will be posting. So that's the way. One vote. You have a few days in which to do it. Once this goes live, head on over as quick as you can and you'll be able to cast your vote. Last week, our topic was...
oh, fuck me. I remember this now. Last week, our topic was the best big budget movie that flopped.
And our contenders were?
Our contenders were Onward, Dread, Power Rangers, and Tenet. We had 354 people vote. Some comments that I need to read out as always. So from Andy Hart at Fandango Groover, what up, Andy? He said, Tenet is a difficult one for 2 reasons. It took nearly double its production budget at the box office. Given the marketing budget, that will equate to a loss. But in box office terms, that is underperformed, not flopped. Secondly, is it one of the 4 best movies to lose money? Question. To which I said, well, you got to remember one thing, bro. It lost $100 million. Whatever the reasons are, or however we break down the numbers, the bottom line is the studio are going to look at that and deem it a mega flop. Good movie? That one I leave to you.
Best answer. Because
he carried on here a bit, but I get where he's coming from. He said, I don't buy the $100 million loss. It took something like $360 million on a budget of $200 million. They probably lost about $20 million, but all that is shrouded in bullshit to keep tax payments and actor-director back-end deals to a minimum. Now, I only had one answer to this. That's next level stuff I know nothing about.
I mean, there's that, but the only other way I would read it is we saw a bottom line, which showed a loss of the figures that we quoted, and men lie, women lie, numbers don't. That's the best way I could put it. Like, that's the
Literally.
bottom line figure we're seeing. Like, yeah. I respect what you're saying, Andy, by all means, but it's kind of hard when you want to start toying into it. We could just see the figures that have been displayed to us.
And then the Twitter police showed up. You know who I'm talking about.
Chris Trentgrove.
Of course. And I can call him that now because I know he doesn't listen to the podcast. I'll tell you why in a moment. Anyway, his question is, reason for excluding Blade Runner? And then before I had a chance to answer, he jumped in with another one, which is, also, including Tenet and Onward isn't remotely fair due to both being released during a pandemic. To which my answer was, you are giving reasons as to why they flopped. It doesn't change. They flopped. And he said, honestly, I think it's a bad take. You have to consider the environment. Tenet losing money is not the same as Dread losing money because the latter came out in normal times. Its loss spoke to audiences' reaction at the time. Unfair to campaign anything COVID versus non-COVID. And I said, mate, all we're doing is looking at a movie that made a loss of 100 million and asking if people enjoyed it. COVID be damned.
I mean, oh, shit.
Ah, fuck. God damn it. I can't talk about this. And demonetized. Fuck global bastard cunt. Fuck twat.
It's done. It's done. I just heard it and I was like, forget it. It doesn't matter. Guys, we do it for the passion. You know what? We might open up a link tree. If you want to donate to us, feel free. Because clearly we're not going to get monetized any other way. But more than anything else, look, we've said it. But be it a pandemic, be it that the marketing wasn't there, whatever the reason for a loss, we didn't control it. The bottom line is the bottom line. This is what
a loss is a loss is a loss is a loss is a loss.
This is the variable. A loss. A loss. That's all we can work with.
Yes. But then he carried on, of course. In my opinion, you could have had a better conversation if you included all non-COVID releases, and it appears I'm not the only one thinking that. As it is, I think the only viable option on which to vote is Dread, which is great, and perfect example for your prompt. Now, what annoys me about this is I found out later in the thread that he actually doesn't listen to the podcast. So the fact that he's even saying you should have done this to have a better conversation, I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. You don't even know what our conversation was.
Do you know what
he legitimately doesn't know. Hopefully I'll find the thread. But there is a point later where I think Andy jumps in and he's like, Chris, Nico, get a room. And it's like, fair play to Andy, my boy. But
do you know what it is? And
you know what Chris's reaction is? It's like, oh, your name's Nico, cool. And I went, busted. That means you don't even listen to the podcast if you don't know my name. So, like, you can't be criticizing our conversation if you haven't heard it.
Listen, I appreciate we're talking an hour and a half. Some can sign on. Like, Andy, respect to you for joining in as much as you have.
Bro, I say at the opening of the show, I'm Nico Luro.
Bro, I get it. Listen, I get it. What I'm getting at is, but the penny has dropped before with Chris that he realized we are a podcast. We're not just a poll, right? There is a podcast behind how this has all been formulated. Now, whether you choose to not listen or not, even if you want to scroll to the very end, which I don't implore people to do, but if you have to, you have to. I don't know. I control your schedule.
Hey, it still helps on the algorithm, so go for it.
Thank you. Exactly. But what I'm getting at is, if by any means you want to say maybe this would have led your discussion, maybe hear the discussion. That's just a small pointer.
This is the point I'm making. This is exactly the point I'm making. Do not criticize the discussion if you haven't heard the discussion. It's like saying, I don't like that movie. Have you seen the movie? No. It's like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there we go. Yeah.
At PhotoFan9000 came in with Dread and Tenet are great movies, especially Dread. The Power Rangers movie was better than I expected. Never seen Onward. Nosh SH123 said, I preferred Tenet even though I didn't want to go and you made me. It was an excellent film that kept you thinking, but what? Right through the end and then some.
Sorry, is that someone you know?
No, I think these guys must be friends. At PhotoFan and Nosh must be talking to each other.
Oh, right. Okay. I was like, what? I haven't forced anyone.
No. Officer Jimmy at Dean A-Bit came in with an awesome gift that just says, how do you plead? We know what that is then. TW Green Knight said, I think Onward had terrible timing, being the last film to come out before a little worldwide pandemic. Even without it, I didn't like it. So Power Rangers. Yes.
I mean, I'm not opposed to Power Rangers, but I wouldn't have shouted Onward in favor of it. Like,
People don't like that movie, bro.
it's sad.
It's a weird one. Bubble Wheat said, Dread All the Way is such a great film that had the potential to become a franchise. Land of the List said, Tenet and Onward simply aren't traditional flops. Tenet was, here we go again. Tenet was released to recoup anything and everything possible mid-pandemic, arguably one of the biggest wins for a release in some time, given the circumstances. Onward legit had like 2 weeks before it lost all earning potential. To which I answered, every single word of this is true. But ultimately, it boils down to you explaining the why. All we're doing is showing the what. Reasons aside, when you lose that amount of money, unfair as it may be, you're a flop. That's all the studio execs care about, guys. Did this movie make me money? Can I go and buy my 12 caviar eggs? No? Why? Because the movie lost me money. That's what it comes down to. It's as simple as that. There's no second degree to this.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't stop either of those films getting a sequel for them to retest the waters. But the first films will go down in history as flops. There's no one. Put it this way: no one has ever corrected. The same way we've adjusted stuff due to inflation. No one has ever adjusted budgets due to the pandemic. So a loss is a loss. That's just being fair.
Loss is a loss is a loss. That's it.
Unless you adjust the economy for the pandemic, which I don't believe any country has.
No one has.
Come here.
No one has. So
well, there we go. So there we go.
Paul Starkey said, Dread by a mile. It's Jackie said, I had to Google it because I wasn't believing that Onward had a 200 million budget, to which I answered, insanity, right? That I do criticize Pixar for. There is no reason on God's good earth that an animation should be costing that much. It's crazy.
I actually don't know.
Most of it must have gone to fucking Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. That's the only thinking I have.
This would be the thing. Is fresh off of a couple of Marvel movies, you just hire 2 of them and just say, hey, would you like to voice it? I'm sure the money.
Yeah. Locked on GT put, love Dread, needed a sequel. Here, preach to that, my brother. Michael 80 shared a gif of Dread. Uche, I am steady, said Tenet didn't flop though, to which I answered 100 million loss. That's a flop. And Dorian Soup said, I can't read that one out because it gives away the answer. Mike Matthews said, not sure if Dread qualifies as a big budget movie, 30 to 45 million compared to 100 million for Power Rangers, 200 for Onward and 200 for Tenet. That's fair. And I said, that's fair, actually. But I should have specified maybe potential for big box office, but it doesn't make such a good title now, does it? Farrier the First put Tenet. Eliza Melville put Dread is such a great film. I still can't believe it was a flop. Preach to that, my girl. And then we get some more people saying it's the same thing again and again. Tenet didn't flop. Tenet didn't flop. Tenet didn't flop. It's like 100 million loss, 100 million loss, 100 million loss.
It's very interesting, actually. I'm just going to bring this up. I mean, irrelevant of where it came on the list. There's a lot of Tenet defenders, considering Tenet was... It's had an awkward...
Nolan has an army.
Bro, I get that, but Tenet is the one film that has had that kind of, ooh, I don't know how to read it, but yeah.
No, Interstellar had that too. Interstellar, when it first came out, people were not on board with it. It was upon rewatching it, people realized, actually, this is pretty fucking good. I have a feeling Tenet's going to be the same. The more people watch it, they're going to be like, actually, yes, clever.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this space in 10 years' time. I guarantee you and me are going to be on podcasts going, that Tenet was a good film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, you want to take a stab at the guesses, mate?
Here we go. In at number 4, Onward.
Correct. 13%.
Okay. At least it got some votes. In at number 3 is Power Rangers.
Correct. 14%.
And now comes the battle of Tenet and Dread. This is a tough one.
It has been in the comments. This one is a pretty obvious one.
I mean, the Warriors have been out for both sides, but I'm going to go for Tenet at number 2.
Correct. Clean sweep for you this week. Tenet at number 2, 26%. Dread steamrolled it, mate. 47%.
Cool. Well done to Dread. I mean, they were all awesome films. Despite people shitting on Onward, I will continue to defend that film. And guys, thank you very much for the interaction. And guys, how many votes was it we had?
354.
354 guys. A couple of comments underneath the YouTube. It means nothing. Just we'd love to hear from you guys. 354 thumbs up. Do you know how much that would mean to us? So if you are on one thing, just help us out, just a tad. Look, we're not even doing it for the money because we said the C word, so forget that. But just that little bit of interaction and spreading, it's there.
AJ,
so,
you have frozen. Meanwhile, oh shit, I have frozen. What's going on here? We are back. I'm back. AJ's back. We're back. Carry on, please.
Cool. I don't. But yeah, I was just saying we had. It's not for the money. It's for the love. It's for spreading. It's just getting out there, being recognized, not in a vanity project way, but tell 5 people. This is on you thing. Just tell 5 people. We're just trying to spread the word. High five. That's what we're looking for. We're just trying to spread the word because you like talking about movies. We like talking about movies. We all know 4 other people, 5 other people who like talking about movies. Join the train, man. Drink it in, man. Anyway, that's what we're talking about, guys. Thank you very much once again. At Movie Polls for You, at Movie MT Rushmore. I'm not going to talk about Instagram right now because I keep promising to do it and I've done shit on there. But no, there is that as well. But no, just keep voting and we appreciate all the content. That's that. Nico, anything else you'd like to add, sir?
Yeah, from me, just guys, we have got the Hell in a Cell predictions up on the YouTube channel right now. It's a bit redundant, obviously, because the pay-per-view's been and gone, but it is there if you want to watch it. There won't be any wrestling predictions this coming weekend because I'm a little bit busy with a certain issue of getting married. So whoop whoop. There's that. And yeah, so I'm getting married this weekend, so there won't be any wrestling podcast. But when we do resume, you can find everything that the Silver Screen Dudes are doing at www.silverscreendudes.com. The Ministry of Wrestling podcast, which is on all the same podcast platforms that the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast is on. You can find the Movie Mount Rushmore on all podcast platforms, iOS and Android. And the gaming live streams will come back to the YouTube channel soon. My brother-in-law is staying with me at the moment, and he's sleeping in the living room, so I can't really do the gaming live streams. But when he's gone, then the gaming live streams are back. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's the one. That's the one, guys. So until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan. Before we stop, are they looking out for a podcast next week, or are you on marital break? So just so they know.
I think they can look out for one.
Okay. How generous you are. You have an understanding, missus. Right. Okay, guys. So once again, I am AJ. I'm signing out.
I'm Nicolero. See ya.